Here we are. Yeah, another Wednesday. We'll just talk to the wall until Brad gets here. Brad's running a little bit late. It appears he's stuck in some sort of cyber purgatory, trying to get into the stream. So I guess we'll wait. I think he's lost somewhere in the cyberspace quantum realm.
Question, Eric. How long does it take for you to fix your lighting before every Whiskey Wednesday show?
It takes me a good 20 minutes to figure out how to make this lighting work, and it's still not very good. I need a. It's because I think it's because my glasses. They like cause a reflection. The 16 monitors I have shining in my face, and where the lighting is. So I think I need to get some sort of studio lighting in here. To
There he is.
Is he hopping in now?
He's in the waiting room. Ladies
Not bad. In the waiting room, in the green room. Brad Baker was in the green room. Hi, buddy.
There's too many snacks in the green room.
Yeah, he got caught up eating in the green room.
Just so you know, I started the Bass Pro hat trend about 10 years ago.
You do? I'm so late to the party.
He comes in throwing bombs, flinging grenades in there.
There's haymakers right away.
I thought we were at 8 o'clock. I thought we were at 8 o'clock.
Well, it is 8 o'clock. No, was it? Oh, because we were last week. Yeah, we kind of
last week we were at 9. But great to see you guys. Thanks for
great to see you, sir. Yeah, you're welcome. Good to see you. We were gonna audition for guest hosts.
Yeah. I owed Brad a call this afternoon and didn't get back to him. That's been our week.
No, it's fine. Oh no, I've been running around. I just grabbed the kid and got lost in kidland.
That happens. It's tough.
Now I got food here. I need to get some whiskey.
Oh boy, he's gonna get the food going. Better, have a couple of whiskeys first. We like to see you a little toasty, and then that means you'll get drunker faster, and I'll win. I win the bets.
Give me 2 shakes of a lamb tail, and I'll be back with some alcohol.
There you go.
Let me guess. Bullet. Is Bullet on the menu tonight at the baker's house?
He scampers off. This is the color. This is the fun stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is what makes us, approachable. If we had sponsors, we'd be doing sponsorship things right now. But we don't. Yeah. So we just talk. We just ramble. It's all sellable air for anyone that's interested. This is the whole time that we could be talking about your product to our listener, and maybe you get a sale.
To our several listener.
Our several listener.
I swear they've always been at 8.
There he is.
Jeez, boys.
And he's back. There you go. Close it so we can start cursing.
Okay.
Keep it professional. Keep it professional, Brad.
So here's my whiskey glass.
Oh, that's the glass. Yeah, the infamous glass. I love that thing.
Just pour in the top.
I got to get one of those. Also, like the thing has got a wedge. Oh,
boom.
Yeah. There you go.
Cool. And Zach.
Back.
What are you guys drinking?
I'm going with the Bowman Brothers today. Get the Bowman Brothers today.
Ooh.
Zach's cooking the King's Creek.
Man, nice. You guys are high class, motherfuckers.
Well, launching right into it without further ado. So, talking about whiskey and things that we talk about always for NFTs, right? What's this deal with Johnny Walker launching a 48-year-old Scotch with its own NFTs, right? Let's dive into that one a little bit. Zach, you want to kind of give us an overall?
Yeah, Brad, did you get a chance to look at that?
I haven't heard about that.
So they're releasing. It was a 2-pronged approach. I don't know how many they were going to release, but they created this blend of a bunch of different whiskeys, and they aged it for 45 years, and they're going to release. I think they're going to release it with if you buy a bottle, you get a trip to go to Scotland.
Yeah, you get a 3-day trip. Every NFT is tied to a 3-day trip to 3-day trip to Scotland, which can be redeemed and used within 2 years of the release.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Is that the first? They said the first NFT and then the second NFT. So is it just the first one that they're doing that with? And then the second one, I think they're just going to get the NFT. So I think it's just the first collection is is going to get them the whiskey. The second one is just for NFT, like it's just a collectible.
Their second one is going to be more tied. It's tied more around the art.
Yeah.
So they partnered with Boss Logic. Pretty cool.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah, man. And what a cool idea, right? Again, we were talking about how to kind of make them have some sort of, value. And that just seems like the natural use for them, right? To tie them into a product, to have some sort of, utility value, as we keep on talking about, to just kind of, give it extra purpose. And it's also a way to kind of track it and all that kind of stuff, right? Tie it all together. So very fascinating.
I'm curious on, if they're going to continue to go down this road of, what else do the NFT holders get? Are they going to have other special batches that maybe NFT, your NFT goes up in value? I mean, this is a very 10,000 foot article. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many questions. It's always fun to ponder, but like clearly this is something that is a very high value item. So like you'd think that like, when you do these kind of high valued releases, it makes sense because the amount of investment that goes into producing the NFT artwork too, you're not going to do it with every bottle, of Johnny Walker or every, everything. But maybe if it's scotch or luxury items, that are kind of collector's pieces or something, or one-offs, or at least a very hot commodity, then why not tie in with something? I mean, you've got to market them anyways, right? So what a great way to use this as a kind of a more exclusive tool to market them.
Have they already minted?
It said May 31st is when they were going to release them.
Wow, I wonder what was the minting price.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say.
Yeah, what's interesting? They didn't really.
And the question is, do you buy? Is it you buy the NFT and they give you the bottle, or is it some other way? Are you buying the bottle and they're giving you an NFT? You know what I mean? Or how does that work? I wonder. That doesn't really speak too much to it. We probably could have done. Our research department didn't do a good job of providing us with any of that information, so we're kind of low budge here in our research. So we kind of come at it with fresh eyes. It's pretty much us reading the paper and just reciting and like regurgitating what we read to you guys, which sometimes has more insight. Yeah, sometimes has more value than other times, but if we can get you guys interested, our listener interested in anything, then maybe we've been successful.
Who do we got? The Randall?
I don't know if he's even on time. I think he left us too. He probably didn't want to watch us anymore either.
He's in.
It might be time that we actually start. We may have to start telling people that we're doing it. That might be the first step, and try and actually invite people.
Yeah,
other than just.
I got to keep ironing out the process.
Yeah,
and I think that's even a topic in itself. We could just talk about is just trying to figure out what is your blueprint, what is the topic, what's the content. It's funny because we never really think about, even with how crummy of a job that we've done so far, it still takes a lot of work to be this bad.
It takes a lot of work to look this bad.
Yeah, it takes planning.
We need researchers. We need interns.
You get a whole new respect for not only podcasters or bloggers, but think of like a Joe Rogan or some of these major network, anchors. Man, because even if they have a whole bunch of information and content fed to them, they still got to sift through it, have their opinion or their take that's unique to their audience. Sheesh.
I need a teleprompter. I need my research assistants providing me with, instant information to feed.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. But maybe today we could talk about how we could possibly prepare for an NFT event like Expoverse. Maybe for a little bit.
Well, we have some
into this. Go ahead.
No, I was saying we have some stuff that we we curated for tonight just to kind of discuss. I think that's a great, because we were kind of going to go light on NFTs and stuff. So if you want to fill in some of the voids there, I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think we had there's a lot of interesting stuff happening. Even just again, every week to week, there's so many unique things that I'm picking up on and just seeing, and and then that's just like happening in real time, right? Like the next thing that we were going to talk about right off the bat was that that this former OpenSea executive was arrested and charged with insider trading of NFTs. They are actually prosecuting him because he worked for OpenSea, and what he was doing was he was finding out ahead of time before they were going to produce the collections or promote the collections on the homepage, and he was giving that information to people, and they were buying them, and they were kind of what do you like cherry picking those higher value ones and riding the wave up and then dumping them, and yeah, so he'll be prosecuted for that kind of stuff. The SEC is it's an SEC thing, I think, right? Zach, is that what you said?
Yeah,
so
it's got to be.
Wow. And gosh, you get caught up in your own marketing and the power of your own marketing. And
also believing that it's probably like the Wild West, like oh, I can do whatever, no one cares, there's no repercussions, which is actually we didn't even like, that's not even in our notes here, Zach, but that was the whole thing I was wanting to get to on this weekly episode anyways, which was crime and punishment in the metaverse, right? I think that's a huge thing I want to talk about, because there's some very fascinating things I learned about this week that I was like, oh, damn.
Sexual assault case?
Sexual assaults, and then I think it was the UAE was looking to criminalize, like if you broke a law in the metaverse, you would be tried in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that all work together? And let's just jump right into that, because this is a perfect segue into there as far as the OpenSea guy, because obviously it's a crime that's it's a crypto crime, so it's technically a financial crime, but it's it's just very it's just interesting. I mean, it's just interesting that that we can do that.
I like thinking about how that's regulated. Like, wow, is there? I guess you would think that there'd have to be somebody or some type of entity monitoring or like policing the metaverse, but in actuality, it's probably just the algorithm.
Yeah.
But crazy to think about.
Okay, to dig in a little bit deeper here, right? So what we're kind of referring to is, one, you have financial crimes, right? Which is this is kind of in essence insider trading, right? I mean, that's manipulating currency value, and so I can see that being more tangible. That's something you can kind of punish, right? Or you can have a criminal case against. The other thing we're talking about is there was a article where there was a research, and this has actually happened a bunch of times. There was a researcher, like an independent researcher that was working for Facebook Meta, that was researching their metaverse, and she's like she was encouraged. I guess there's the default setting in metaverse is like a 4-foot protective kind of circle around you, but if you remove those controls, then people can come right up to you, right? And apparently, she was told to undo those controls, and within like seconds, she said she was being like sexually assaulted while like people were watching and like passing like booze around. And it was like literally like a public raping in the metaverse. Just like and yeah, I mean, it seems silly because you're like, okay, who cares? It's a video game. It's not real. But apparently, the sensory experience is pretty intense.
The emotional damage.
Well, it's okay. Think about it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're immersed in this world, which is what they're kind of encouraging, it's still a violation. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not the same thing. But if it's okay, this is going to be getting really crazy quantum physics kind of for a second here. Is that if all your experiences are just electrical signals in your brain, anyways? What's the difference, right? I mean, that's the reality of it, right? You could say, well, touch is an electrical current in your brain, right? Senses are electrical currents in your brain. So if you're teasing your brain into believing that it's real, I mean, it's not. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but certainly you can see how I would be concerned that that's a problem, right? And again, it takes forever. And this goes back to what I was saying even weeks ago, which is that I my lack of respect for the human condition, which is that people are animals and they will do whatever their base instincts gear them towards. So if you're in an environment that quote unquote allows you to go no holds barred and do whatever you want, right? There have to be victims, right? So at that point, who are the victims?
I would even go back a step and say, true or false, is social media damaging to our teenage,
Oh, that's true. That's ultimate. It's obviously super true. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it's causing real world damage too. You're right.
Level. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the depression. We're seeing massive issues with that generation, with I mean, even us, right? The Gen Xers and millennials, huge problems with that. So yeah, you take it to that. All you're doing is you're up in the ante.
Yeah, right. You're giving them full reign to, like, in essence, again, if you're going to tout that you're creating this immersive world, right, which in essence is going to be a new reality, those crimes will happen. And I'm glad to hear that at least it's being thought of as how you deal with that, right? How you handle that in a criminal situation, right? I mean, clearly, you know, I mean, you can say it sounds silly, right? It's like, well, you know, what murder in the virtual world, come on. It's more about psychological trauma as opposed to anything else, right? It's just like you're doing, if these are, if that's where it lands. And look, I just feel like
I feel
such
like
a new
tie back to what's equivalent of like pulling your pants down or peeing in public. What's that ticket you get?
In public indecency, right?
Public,
Right,
yeah,
indecent exposure. You can kind of maybe at that level, and then you kind of get labeled a certain way. But I think definitely it should be punishable in the real world.
Yeah,
because we don't want it to run wild, right? And it depends on the metaverse too. I bet there'll be different metaverses that have different restrictions,
like Eyes Wide Shut parties. Probably. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. It's like each one will have their own little like rooms that they, I guess. And at the end of the day, too. I mean, she should. I mean, not she shouldn't have, but there's a reason. I mean, if they do have those safeties in place, then I guess that would solve some of this. So I mean, I guess it's kind of it's not fair to say, look, there's no safety measures in place. It's just, it's interesting. I don't think anyone's really thought it through fully. I think because it is such a new technology, that they have to they're learning as they go to a certain extent in terms of what it really means, right? And how it messes with people's minds a little bit, right?
Well, and it's education too. None of us here in the three of us knew that there was a personal space setting,
Mm-hmm.
But now everybody's probably okay. I'm not turning that shit off.
Well, assuming it gets enough eyes, right? At the end of the day, too. I mean, and that doesn't just get like ignored. I mean, to a certain extent, I think anyone that's in the space probably was reading this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume, because it's got to, they're most likely, in getting that kind of news. But yeah, it's very fascinating. I just feel like there's so many things that, like, because that's kind of the allure to a certain extent, right? And I guess the question is it based on your preferences and settings of the area, like the dark web, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like, are you creating rooms or worlds where anything goes? And it's like, if you enter this space, you're anything, you kind of like leave all. But is that good or bad too? I mean, people do things that they don't,
Well, I was going to say, I think I always go back to, I'm a true believer that there's evil everywhere. It's just, no matter where you go, there's going to be evil. We're all pretty much asleep by 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. But you go downtown Phoenix or downtown DC, you're gonna find evil, pretty quick somewhere when you're looking for it. So evil's always gonna find its way into no matter what we create. Especially in these virtual worlds, and it's a whole new ball game, I guess, of what we're gonna. Yeah, I guess I never realized the impact it can have on somebody. She's doing research, right? So it's crazy to think that how vulnerable she really was. And how do you start policing that? Is it and then are there going to be eventually false claims? Is there? I think it said there were witnesses that saw it, so I'm sure it's going to be very similar in the. Can you corroborate it?
Yeah, I mean, but then here's the other question: is it like all recorded somewhere? Like, does it exist in the database somewhere? Do all these transactions happen, and it's like technically like a recorded environment?
Think so. Yeah, I think so. There's got to be some database of it all.
At the end of the day, it's programming. I mean, it's programming language. You got to be able to run a backup. Or like, what happened? Yeah, well, maybe.
I assume it is, Eric, but that's a great question.
Because it's got to be.
In that case,
Yeah.
It would be like there's always a big brother watching every movement from every angle.
Well, it's privacy, right? So again, that's the other thing. We don't have any articles on that, but in terms of privacy in the space, right? Which
Yeah,
is what is yours? What are you doing?
Can you and I go into a little shack that we build and turn our personal space settings off?
You don't want me to turn my personal space settings off.
And then can somebody hack in and then get a camera on?
Well, that's what my next question was like, say you have your personal settings. Is there a way for a hacker to maybe we use the word hacker very loosely, but again, it's just computer language, right? So at the end of the day, yes, the answer is yes, because nothing's 100% secure. I mean, I can't imagine that their security protocols are such that they are like, unhackable, for lack of a better word. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be everybody, but certainly high value targets, right? I think they're, just like blackmail and things like that, right?
Absolutely.
It's
kidnap. Maybe you can kidnap an avatar, Kanye's avatar.
No, I'm talking about for blackmail in terms of like, look, we saw what you did in the space, or we have recordings of you doing this, and this is your, your avatar,
totally.
or your, it's just another.
Here's again, you and Brad. I have a video of you and Brad in the shack.
We got a video from the shack. Anyways, that's bad. We can move on from this, but that was just something I thought was really interesting that I hadn't really thought about, which was, first of all, the crime, the assault aspect of it, which is that it's like, if you're immersed in this environment, why don't, you can feel something. I mean, it's just like, it's like, I would feel like icky, like I would feel like assault, I guess it's like, oh, dude, what's going on? Like you're like, I don't know. I just feel like it would be a weird thing to have happen to you. And as a male person, I don't know that I would have the same response as a female would, perhaps. But I would be like really grossed out by it. I'd be like, oh my God, what's happening? Because it's like,
well, what's the male to female ratio in the metaverse, I wonder?
That's actually a very good question, right? And that was that joke, that debunked article, which is that what the Bored Ape, like, was a dating app was
which we
because there were no women.
Yeah. Too many bros. Well, what's crazy is the
sausage party.
Yeah.
So the numbers that they're coming out with, I'll share real quick here. So it was a hoax, but it was a dating app for Bored Ape Yacht Club members, but it was all a joke. And then she dug into it. She retracted her original article because she was like, "Oh my gosh, this makes perfect. It's got to be real."
Yeah.
But then went in and started to realize, I can't stand these websites. Anyways, she found, she went and did a little bit of research, and 16% of NFT holders are female. And then really, I bet it's higher than this, but twice as many men are invested into crypto than women. So, my question, why is that? Are guys just a lot more willing to jump in?
Well, you had that funny meme. I don't know if you had it for memes of the week this week, but it's a funny meme about the guy, like what women see. It was an Instagram story, like how women see us when we talk about our NFTs. And it's like this, just this total dork, like doing like weird dorky things. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty much true. I think they see it as, I think to this day, they still see it as like tech nerdery. And so we actually had a conversation yesterday with a client about how, that's kind of an untapped market to a certain extent, because I think if you would to promote it to them and educate them, not that they need educating, anyone that's not into the space needs educating. I'm saying if here's a group of people that aren't in the space, we have to educate them. So therefore, why are we not, why are we afraid from addressing that when it's like, if they're potentially an audience for our product or our collection, whatever. So I think it's just, it's not necessarily in their lane, but that's being judged. I mean, that's being, I think, prejudicial. Obviously, it's not really a fair assessment. We have no knowledge. We don't understand why. So,
rule number one of marketing is the 3 Ws. What women want. So is it because brands haven't quite figured out how to properly
Well,
educate?
But here's do the math. Take a step. Who are the kings of Web 2.0, right? I mean, if you did Amazon's, ran their demographics, I'm sure you'd see a ton of female audience there, right? Probably majority. This is me just speaking anecdotally, but you can imagine. And if they're content with purchasing and doing all this stuff and using all these apps online, why can't they learn a new one, right? I mean, it's not. There you go. Why can't we? Address it. Anyways, that it's just.
Well, and if you look at the programming world, it's dominated by males, and there's a huge push to try to get girls to start programming, and so that's kind of who is in this space right now, is a bunch of programmers and nerds, and it's a huge sausage party, that's for sure.
Well, another interesting thing is another nice little segue here is into one of the things that we found, which we were talking about, the smart fitting rooms, Zach. That Amazon was it Amazon that was doing the first smart fitting rooms where they would they'll have touch screens in the. Is it an Amazon store, by the way? Is that what they were saying it was at?
Yeah, it was. I think it was an Amazon store, I believe, Glendale, California. I remember that.
It was a test store, I think, but in essence, what they're doing is you were able to interact with the staff through the app and order clothes to the dressing room. And then you'd go in the dressing room, try them on, and from the touch screen in the dressing room, you could call out for more clothes or different sizes or see the inventory and stuff like that. In essence, it was creating a smart dressing room environment. And I don't know if they talked about, at first I thought maybe they were talking about doing more AR stuff too, where it was seeing the outfit on you. That's what made me really take a look at it. But you can see here, there's a touch screen and it would be an app too. And then once the algorithm understands your choices, it would suggest clothes for you. So it's almost like a personal shopper to a certain extent.
Yeah, and what was cool, it does. It's a smart shopper as well. So it's going to go, which I thought was pretty cool.
And again, the segue was through females in the tech space and all this stuff, but clearly these are things that are more geared towards the female, use, I guess. I think personally, I mean, I'm sure guys can use it just the same, but I mean, I think there's something to be said there for it being in their wheelhouse in terms of, clothing and apparel and stuff like that. But it's just interesting that I think as more technology comes into those industries and those markets, you're going to see more adoption of some of those things. So,
yeah. Any comment on that, Brad? See Big Agnes rolling that out soon?
Not with their stuff. Maybe.
Don't think so.
10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It'd be weird hopping around in a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Might be. I think you don't need to necessarily have the test fitting for that.
Yeah.
Another good one I was going to pull up that Gucci article. I thought that was interesting, Eric.
Well, that has to do with wearables and technology, right? So Gucci did an 18 karat gold, one of those sleep rings, right? Those they look like wedding bands, but they actually kind of track your sleep and your sleep habits and stuff. But clearly, like I said, that's a high-end brand that's getting into that kind of tech space, right? I mean, there are all these wearables. And this was actually a question I kind of had for Brad, which was, where do you see wearables going kind of in terms of technology and people's use of them? I mean, do you think, it's clearly it's an uphill battle so far. And do you see that changing anytime soon? Or is it, what's your thought on that? From a development side, in terms of technology and adoption of technology.
Are you talking about wearables as for the metaverse, or are you talking about Google?
No, in general, just in real everyday life, and for people's kind of adoption of medical wearables or things of that nature.
Yeah.
Well, I
smart
think,
fashion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what Facebook does with their new stores, and if we do go to LA, I'd love to go to the new Facebook store because they're going to be having a lot of this stuff on display just like the Apple Store does, to where you can touch and feel and play with it. And so the more it comes into the retail space, I think the more the more we're able to touch and feel and play with it, then I think it's just the more we're going to see it integrated into everyday stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like glasses, like rings, like shoes, but like watches, all this. It's just going to start tying our whole lives together. But I don't know. I'm excited to see what Facebook has in their new retail store and their new glasses, because they're going to be pairing up with the corporation that owns Oakley and Lens Crafters. So they're also going to be in some prescription glasses retail stores. So that's where they really hope to get a foothold, is on people that are already wearing glasses, So I don't know if that's what you were wanting, where you want me to go with it.
Yeah, just it says $950 if you want to buy one. So
For
$950 for a ring that tells you about your sleep.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's no way I'd buy that.
I sleep pretty good without it.
I would say all it would tell me is how poorly I sleep. You suck at sleeping. Well, okay.
You slept.
It would tell me how bad I am. Tell me how bad I am at managing my money. That's what it would tell me, I think. But I don't know about how well I sleep. Anyways.
It shocks you every time your wife spends.
Yeah. Well, I think it'd be shocking that I spent the money in the first place. That's wild. Well, and also a couple other things, like some other interesting stuff I think in the development universe, Brad, that I kind of wanted to get your input on, is that we've read some stuff about some search engine stuff, right? One of which is face search technology, and I think this goes back to what we were talking about, even in just privacy rights and stuff like that, Zach and Brad. But what are your takes on face search? And do you have any issue with that technology coming to play? Do you see it as a problem? Where do you see that going? Bradley Baker.
Gosh, I don't know. All I can think about is,
well put.
Just in it. I don't know. I didn't read the article.
Okay. Well, I'm asking you a question. Like, have you heard about anything about? I mean, what is your input on?
I don't know. It's interesting that half of our faces are already in databases. So that's kind of scary that that part of our profile is already out there, and that we don't own that. And that we don't.
Well, that's kind of what this company jumped on, and for $30 a month, you can upload any face photo, and it'll scan and show you everywhere.
Every photo on the internet.
Yeah, and so so it's pretty shocking, I think, to some of these journalists, because a lot of them didn't even recognize the photos that they were in.
So here's the question, right? So is that I feel like that if anything, that's a tool that has a good purpose, because then, like, if you were trying to track, trying to kind of take control again of your digital kind of footprint, like, here's a great way to see where you are at, and especially if you were in tight control of your likeness, right? Or if you had branding rights on your likeness, right? That you could get people to, a lot of cease and desist letters could go out, right? In terms of if people are using that. So maybe not for the everyday person, but certainly I think there's value in it for sensitive personalities, let's say. I don't see how it's a violation. I don't think how it becomes a privacy issue, right? Because if the user, and the fact that maybe that it's kind of just highlighting an existing privacy issue, right?
Too many ads on the website. And I heard somebody say the other day, when's the last time you read 1984?
Well, yeah.
Read it again today. And
you didn't read it. You watched the movie. You didn't read it. Don't pretend like you read it. Read it. Read it.
I read it in kindergarten, Eric. What did you do in kindergarten?
I read War and Peace.
No, we read it fifth grade. I believe.
5th grade.
Yeah.
In 1984, we read it in 1984.
Yep.
Right? What is that? Like
no,
a
I
body
don't-
bag? What are you doing? What do you got? What kind of weird stuff are you going on?
Right.
He's going to the.
Right.
I
Kill
actually
your
have
video.
that book. I've been.
Brad's distracted. Brad's distracted.
No, I have.
already.
I was gonna pull the book. I just have it.
No,
I
but
just grabbed it
that's
from
where
my
my
mother-in-law. Actually, I was gonna reread it.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Funny, funny you bring it up.
I made the daughters read it, and then they had to read it again in high school. You know, obviously they're in high school, so they're placed that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I would encourage. I should actually go read it because it is. I haven't read it for a while. It's been a long time. So, like I said, kindergarten.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? I mean, is there an overreach? Are we getting to a critical mass with technology?
Well, but this goes back. So this is funny because it was like this is a Neil deGrasse Tyson thing where he was saying how, he doesn't think that we've been visited by aliens. Not that they don't exist. He doesn't think we've been visited. I mean, it's like there are 3 billion cameras on the Earth. You know what I mean? Like everything, the amount of footage that's being collected on a daily basis, and no one has seen anything of it. He's like, that's the only reason why I know that it's not here yet. Or they haven't come down to the planet, so to speak. So that goes back to your thing. It's like there are so many cameras out there. It's just every traffic light, every home camera, every cell phone camera, every laptop camera is all technically usable, right? I mean, ultimately, the fact that we connect, what I don't think people really appreciate is that we are voluntarily connecting to a
Matrix.
a well of connectivity. I mean, in essence, we're plugging into anyone has access. It's a conduit, right? It's just that it goes both ways, right? There's a reason why you upload and download data when you look at upload and download speeds, right? For your internet provider, right? The data goes both ways. So anyone can technically enter your system and control your camera, I not to be all conspiracy nut wise, but I mean, it's true. It's just technology. I mean, it's not like, voodoo or like, or magic, right? It's like, it's technology. So, you give up your rights. I mean, to a certain extent, you're giving up certain freedoms by having these technologies. I think you have to accept that or at least don't be that naive.
Do you believe that people have a choice, or did we?
You have a choice. Well, you may not be able to survive in the environment. Meaning, you could always go live in a the power went out the other night here and everything was dark and I was like, wow, that's weird. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You think, well, everything is so interconnected. Just little things. You're just like, I can't. The hum of electricity is not in the air, which is kind of really messed up. But that's the truth.
Was it a rolling blackout?
It was a storm.
Why did you guys lose power?
It was a storm. Just, wind must have knocked down a tree. It came back on an hour later, but it was like, wow, like it really made it's, every now and then that happens, every now and then you're kind of like, oh yeah, wow. Like everything stops. I mean, you still have the ironic thing is there's still a cell phone and I still had internet connection on my phone because it was through the, through the airwaves, right? Through my carrier. So ultimately, we give up privacy. We give up freedoms to get convenience, right? And that's just a choice.
Well,
you could go live in the woods in a cabin. Brad and I are going to live in a cabin and remove our digital space, our safety area.
And I think you could go in and be safe. You could be a digital citizen and do the research and set yourself up with firewalls and double authentication and be that person that sets up all those security fences. But it takes a lot of time. You just got to be a good digital citizen.
You love that word, digital citizen.
Not every, I do. Well,
but it's like, okay, like I'm admittedly giving up freedom to have convenience. I acknowledge that. I have, the woman who shall not be named in almost every room of the house, and we're consistently playing music on it and talking to it, and I'm sure she's listening to everything I say, even though they say they don't, but whatever. And maybe that would be a problem if I really. I could see the, like I said, you don't have anything to hide. I mean, probably I do. I mean, if they ever, so that's I guess that's the big concern, is that if anything ever became taboo, that would be the way for people to find out, use against you, I guess, right? I would say governments, but whatever. Okay, some sort of entity, controlling entity, could use that information against you if they wanted to. And you're saying, yes, maybe that's not the best thing to have that out there in the first place. But
yeah, that's as a digital citizen, that is your responsibility to unplug that thing when you're not using it.
Come on, the genie's out of the bottle. You know what I mean? Like, that ship has sailed. I'll give you any other analogies that you want. But
I guess that you're giving up. That's
do you have one in your house? Do you have any of those things in your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't unplug it.
We used to keep them unplugged, but now we just keep them. Yeah, they're in all the time.
Just
kind of
don't
defeats
talk
the
about
purpose.
Wiretaps.
Don't talk about your drug deal in front of you. That's all.
Yeah. Well, no, it's the weird stuff. It's the weird stuff you and I mean to get into.
Talk about your drug deals in front of you.
Yeah.
Well,
anyways, now we're spiraling.
Guns in, and we're good.
We're spiraling. Okay, let's stay on focus here. Stay on target.
Spiraling or swirling?
You know what I still want to talk to you guys about going to this Expoverse.
That's a different conversation.
And creating a whiskey shot.
A whiskey shot?
Yeah. Whiskey coin, right?
Exactly. And so
like a token for
And so I don't know. I just put Rally together. Like, it all came together for me this afternoon. Oh, okay. This is what Rally is. And it took me a while, Zach. I don't know if you're there yet, Eric. But it's like, okay, cool. And so that's what I think we should do, Zach and Eric, is we should apply for a token on a coin on Rally. And I'm excited about it.
And like crowdsource it. Rally, for those the uninitiated, Rally is what do you call it? Not crowd. Is it crowdsourced, crowd ownership kind of for collectibles and NFTs and tech centric. Actually, no, they're tangible entities too, right? It's like an auction house that you can buy a fractional of anything, collectibles.
Yes.
I don't know what else is
Well,
out there.
you're thinking that's Rally Road, the app, right? And then there's Rally.io.
Yeah.
Which is
so we're talking about two different things. Then I didn't even know.
Rally.io.
Then I stand corrected.
So check out Rally.io.
Dropping it in here for you guys.
But anyway, I would love to get a creator coin set up, and we can take that into one of these events that we go to. I just think that'd be super cool.
Well, go into it, Brad. Like, why would this be valuable to people? How could a brand or how could a company make this valuable? And even talk about Whiskey River. Like,
for us,
talk about.
Well, for us, we could set it to where, kind of like what we were thinking of with our NFTs. So if you have a certain amount of coins, that gives you our time. We can set up a Slack channel for people to ping us and pick our brain, or to meet with us, or to, go out and they can schedule a round of golf with us, or they can schedule a bike ride with me, and kind of farm out our time a little bit. So kind of the consultation tip, we could kind of farm out some time that way and have sort of a subscription base with the coins and the NFTs for Whiskey River. But I also think it's cool to use for networking at these events. And once we meet people, and we get their contact, we can send them one of our whiskey shots, and then that gets them whitelisted for any NFT projects that Whiskey River does here and in the future. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things like that we can kind of outline, and that you do have to outline in order to apply with Rally. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I was digging into today. But then on the other hand, we could instead go onto Ethereum and create our own token, have it deployed to our wallet, and then we have a bunch of billion whiskey river media tokens, and we can start airdropping those to people.
So Brad, going to that, what's the difference between building a token on or creating a coin on Rally or building your own digital token? Is there a benefit, or are we still,
And I believe, and I'm still learning all this
Yeah.
stuff. It's pretty new, but I think it's essentially like having OpenSea mint an NFT for you. They have the platform to do everything, and run the gas fees and deploy the NFTs and all that on the blockchain. When we would create it ourselves, we would just be doing it all manually, pretty much. So
well, I like Rally because you have a platform. People are going to continue to go here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
You kind of, it's almost like a social.
Yeah, and that's what I don't know is the logistics of it all. Like, how do we, with Rally, we can say go to Rally and look for our coin.
Yeah.
And they can buy it right there, or we can share it with them if they have a Rally account. So, if we go to these events, most people are going to have Rally accounts, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and if we say we have a creator coin, that means Rally. Just like ADHD coin.
Yeah.
So it gives us that head start where we already have the audience and the space and people that are looking for that stuff.
Well, and I like too, because you're going to now have collaborations and partnerships with Untitled, right? Because now this is becoming its own kind of mega economy, I assume, right? Could we trade our, or could we give our whiskey shot to David Berkowitz?
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. And then he could give us services in return and vice versa, right? And so
totally.
I do as well.
And that's a thing about creating our own coin and deploying our own contracts. I think then we could set it up to where we have kind of a different tokenomics where if we're creating our own coin, I totally just lost my train of thought. God, oh man.
Well, it's a very interesting. I think it's a unique way to go about marketing services too, right? It's another access point, and it's another tool for us to promote and to get people to bite on services, really.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say, actually, if we create our own coin on Ethereum, then let's say down the line we do an NFT project. I think it's easier with Nike. We can say to all of our Whiskey River community, hey, if you go mint on Nike with their NFT, or if you go to Nike, you can get on their whitelist if you have a Whiskey River Media coin in your wallet. So we can have a little bit more control.
Brad, is this something we look at for Nifty Dogs?
Yeah, and we are.
Better on this instead of building.
Going with Rally?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Let's dive in. Well, we can look into that some more this week.
Yeah, possibly. I kind of like where we're going.
I do too, but I feel like we should rule it out. Because again, an NFT project that's built with unbelievable cause, right?
Yeah.
Like awesome cause. And they got from that community. What's their fastest way?
And if Rally accepts our application, that kind of justifies our project a little bit too. And what we're doing. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, possibly.
Good
So
stuff.
I encourage you to look at the application, check that out.
Yeah.
But
We'll dive in.
it all started coming together for me because the first time you told me to look at Rally, I was like, what the just the hero alone is going to give me a seizure.
I know. It's gonna
Oh my gosh, I can't even keep up with the space. It's hard. Just trying. I mean, what Fanza is doing, the NFT 365, him doing a show every day, it's hard to even listen to the show every day, let alone do it. I don't know how the guys do it. It's his full-time job, you know.
It's insane. It's insane.
But that show is mind-blowing. I have to listen to it twice through every one.
Yeah. No, he does a phenomenal job. Do we want to, Eric? Do we want to get a couple more of these? I know we got to get in memes of the week here.
Well, it's funny that you said this. Let's just think about this. It's funny you brought Nike, which is actually an interesting segue. You're talking about Nike creating NFTs and all that kind of stuff. But like an interesting segue. We read something today about how Nike is looking to repurpose dead stock, which is used clothes or thrown away clothes, discarded clothes, stuff that was not selling, and that kind of stuff. And they were going to leverage it by hiring or contracting with artists and designers to take that dead stock and kind of repurpose it. Right? They're kind of taking it back.
Hey, where was that article?
I got it on Design Taxi, but they were taking it back and they were like mending it. They were cleaning it, right? Cleaning it, mending it, fixing it up so it's ready for use. And they were having designers go and like make them more unique. So they became, in essence, collectibles.
Wow.
Right? So here you are taking, in essence, what is refuse and making it something that's a designer collectible, which is such a great, really interesting way. And I thought such a cool way to reuse. Go ahead.
That was my wife's thesis in college, her master's.
Really?
She took discarded material and made 3 different collections of snowboard outer apparel.
Really? From discarded stuff?
Yeah, so you got stuff from Volcom, from Spider, from all these Patagonia, from all these different companies. And she made, Zach, she's shown them to you, I think. Or I've shown them to you before.
So cool.
Like it's super cool. So this is super interesting. I gotta
isn't it fascinating?
Makes sense. I mean, there's
so much.
Yeah, I dropped it in. Do you guys see these things in here? No?
Yes.
Yeah.
No?
Man, I did not keep up on the reading this week. I'm going to tell the audience.
Well, it's all, those are pretty short. They're just for discussion. They're kind of just a spark discussion, I think.
I need to read this one, you guys.
The dev queue is pretty jammed up right now. So I think you got
I just need to read them as we post them in Slack because it only takes a couple of minutes.
Yeah, most of them are pretty short. The ones I find are pretty short. So, but this is very fascinating. I just thought this was what a great way to, kind of turn something that's garbage into something that's like designer, like not even that, but like collectible level, right? So it's actually, and I don't know if they were doing what they were doing with the proceeds in terms of, are they just pocketing it, or if they were, gonna use them for even philanthropy or anything like that. But it certainly is a cool concept, I think. So, yeah, that's the only other one I thought was really interesting. There are a couple other ones that we stumbled across, but maybe it's time for memes of the week and just meme
it out. Meme it out.
Meme it out. It's always fun. We always rush the memes of the week at the end, and I think let's savor them this week.
Let's savor them. Let's have a comment or two. How do you guys feel about
I don't think we had any watchers this week. I don't think we had any listener this week.
Oh, that's good.
How do you guys feel about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp deal?
I think you're looking for. I think any comment is not worth making to polarize our audience. Our audience. He or she or they may not appreciate us picking sides.
I don't know. I think 96% of the country was going for Johnny Depp here.
What I just love is that he was in the UK. He didn't even come back for the verdict. He was in the UK playing with Jeff Beck and in the clubs, playing concerts all weekend. And he didn't even bother to come back to lovely Virginia The other thing I thought was cool is that he was spending $1,000 a night on on dinner bills, I guess, or something while he was here or something. I heard.
Well,
He's just awesome.
I'm starting to die. I've always loved the comments. I want to see how I can start trying to drag in the comments, because arguably the comments are even better than the meme itself.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Gray, we did it, boys.
Dr. Gray thing's great. I always love listening to him.
You can always do shout outs to and any of our listener out there, we're always open for new memes of the week. This one's great. Those of you,
Dude, if that person is. Yes, exactly. The old recorder. You guys had to do the recorder. I remember that. Do they still do that, by the way? Do they still make them play the recorder?
Yeah, they call it the what do they call it? Satan's flute.
It's the gateway drug to musical instruments.
You hear it for 3 hours, on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. Then you take the top part off and just blow everything on the end. It's just a whistle. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Good old
this
days.
One for all of our NFTers. The only remaining stable coin.
There you go. Yes.
Costco hot dog with a Pepsi.
There you go. $1.50.
And it used to be Coke.
$1.50.
I liked Costco better when they had Coke than Pepsi.
Did they shift over? They went to Pepsi now. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've had a hot dog.
Man, I wish
we've succumbed to technology and we have Instacart bring our Costco to us.
Wait, is that Sam's Club? You guys, have you been to a Sam's Club? Dude, they ripped Costco off so hard.
But they were competing back in the day. That was Sam's Club came out way back when too.
I know, but you should check out a Sam's now. It's like exactly the same.
Oh, I bet. And then BJ's. You guys have a BJ's or no? By you guys, BJ's Warehouse. It's the same deal.
No.
Yeah.
The BJ's restaurant.
Yeah, it's ironically by us. There's a BJ's restaurant right next to the BJ's big box store. It's like, dude, yeah.
And there you should open up a BJ's liquor.
Yeah, there you go.
How's that one feel?
Yeah, it's too soon, Zach. Too soon.
the 11 people.
We don't know what's going to happen yet. We might end up with monkeypox.
I'm over it already.
You took off your SIG shirt too soon.
Yeah.
I don't always buy it, but when I do, what's it down?
It did keep dipping.
It was at 19 this morning, and then now it's
no good.
That was my favorite so far.
in real time. Oh, hold on. 18:22. Was it 19 for a minute this morning, wasn't it? Or was that yesterday?
Oh.
It's a volatile currency.
This one I thought was master positioning, one that Eric would really appreciate.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
5 minutes to the beach, 8 seconds.
That's it's not so much the going to the beach, it's coming back from the beach. That's the problem. Dude, that is
one of the comments was like, I'd totally buy that house.
Location, right? Yep. You got to get one of those. What they call those things?
I can't even imagine.
A vernacular? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Can you imagine
scale the side of the wall?
Imagine Eric trying to shuffle his family up that staircase.
Oh my gosh,
dude! Don't even say that. I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it. Could you imagine?
Hey, how awesome would it be to do a DoorDash or an Uber Eats?
Dude.
That dude's gonna want to kill you.
Imagine being intoxicated trying to climb those stairs too.
I don't know what's going on with the health memes this week, but they were in full effect. Yeah, so maybe I'm missing something on the monkeypox. Disinfectant kills 99.9% of bacteria, the 0.1%.
See, people are getting back on the old germophobia kick.
Just
I thought that
keep
was
washing your hands. Just keep washing your hands.
Just keep
Like
washing your
normal.
hands, man.
Yeah, here's another. Guys, these are the most trending, relevant memes that were hitting my feed.
Straight from Kim Kardashian.
Oh god, the guy climbed all the way up the hill like that. That's another one, man. Look at that.
Yeah. Does this place exist?
Dude, you're burning probably like the Far East somewhere. Those are always in like weird like places. Not the Far East is weird, but you know what I mean. Exotic locales.
That's it for memes of the week.
That's it for memes of the week. Kind of lame this week. Sorry, Zach. That's kind of lame. The one that you got to show. Find the one. Can you not do Instagram stories? You got to find the one with the guy who's the crypto one that you sent.
Well, I get Instagram stories. I gotta like find it. And then,
that was a funny one. That one was one of the funnier ones. I like that one because it just shows that fan geeks for the crypto. Interesting. Another interesting week. You know,
next week to our audience, I think we put together a little bit of a little bit more of a agenda, or
it was a short week. We had a really good agenda, Brad. You just showed up late and got drunk.
More structure.
Yeah.
I just didn't read. I didn't do shit.
You showed up late. You didn't read. You got drunk. That's, you know what? But that's good. You're like,
I totally am drunk. Oh man.
Did you guys see this one? This one here might be. This one was kind of funny.
Please, one more time. Yes, please. One more time.
You should do your hair like that, Zach.
I think it was just kind of a lame week.
Yes, please.
Kind of a lame week for memes.
I do like your Bass Pro hat though.
Bass Pro Shops, maybe. That's where it's at, man. Living the dream.
It is. You get lost in there. Has anybody gone when Santa Claus is there?
No, I went once when they were doing fishing lessons, like in the lot, like in the building. They had like a pool set up, like an above ground pool with like fish in it, and you could like fish in the pool. I was like, dude, you guys it's awesome. That place. Or Cabela's too. Cabela's is a good spot too. Do you guys have Cabela's? Yeah, you gotta have Cabela's out there. Right?
Yeah, we have Cabela's. Cool. Cabela's is fun, y'all.
I think they're all owned by the same. Aren't they all owned by the same? Isn't Bass owned?
I think they did get off.
Like a monopoly on outdoors.
Well, I guess the Bass Pro Shop in Vegas is massive.
No,
like
dude, it's the one in Memphis. The one in Memphis is in the pyramid.
What's the pyramid?
So the pyramid was their basketball stadium. It was like the stadium they built on the river. It was shaped like a pyramid. It looked like the Luxor. Okay. But it was a stadium. And then apparently I don't know, Memphis is the Grizzlies, or they get a new stadium or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like an arena, right? And I guess they sold it to Bass Pro Shops, and they built like this gigantic Bass Pro Shop with duck commanders, like or something like that. There's like a hotel in there too, and all kinds of stuff. And it's like really crazy. You should check it out. Like it's like a whole thing. But yeah, that's like the Mecca. But I don't know. There's one in Vegas that's really good. Yeah, exactly.
Have you guys been to that?
The Mall of America? No, I have not. It's only. There's a new one then in Jersey too, which is the American Dream Mall, whatever it is, the one they built right across from the Meadowlands there. It's got the indoor skiing hill, and Brad, you should go there. It's got like a Nickelodeon theme park in there.
I would be there.
So much stuff, yeah.
I would still.
But it's like on the other side of it's like in Jersey across from Manhattan. And it's like I think they were hoping that people from like that were going to visit New York would go there, but like it's going to take you 3 hours to get from New York across the river to get there. So I don't think they really thought. I don't know. It's like might as well be a different destination. Like it's anything around the New York area. So it's just hard to get around it. So you can't do that. But anyways, they have an indoor ski hill, Brad. So you should go skiing there sometime. Yeah, I'm sure it's just like out your window there.
Come on.
Probably not. Is it still snowing there, by the way?
Dude, it did a couple days ago. We're kind of thawing out again, but
not here.
It's been a
It
while.
was 90 something. It was almost 100 degrees here.
It was 26 degrees when I woke up.
Whoa. That's Colorado.
We're still waiting to put stuff in the ground. Yeah, it's June
There's
1st.
102, I think, here.
Do you get a lot of like this isn't necessary for Whiskey Wednesday. Anyways, wrapping it up. Thanks everybody.
Yeah, have a good
We
night.
appreciate you you listening. We'll see you next week, right? For more of Brad's antics, listener, you'll enjoy it.